Have another song in a moment, but we're going to invite the children up and right now, because what we're going to do is a combination of the face of God and birthdays. So if we have any birthdays this month, if you can stand up, and you get to have the face of God sung to you as well, and we're going to do happy birthday. So children, come on up.
And
birthdays.
Adult birthdays. Nobody, come on.
Somebody has a birthday.
Shy kids, shy adults, no June birthdays. Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll bring the children up, and we're going to sing Face of God.
Or we'll bring the children aside, and we will sing to them and to you.
If you're online and have a birthday, just put your hand up.
Yeah.
It's nice to have some returning children. Thank you for coming. And they can't hear me though. But for those online, you're missing a great Sunday because we got the 360 band here today, and we've got a wonderful talk ready by Reverend Sue. And we know you can hear it online, but it's fun to be here too and in community. So come on in. We really appreciate seeing you. And I'd like to thank everybody who's in service today. We have Lindy in the sound booth, Doug and Ronnie, ushers and greeters, and Rich at the board desk if you have any questions. Dr. Mary and I are available for prayer support, and Shirley afterwards. And we have Cher here, who's always ready to talk about SOAR. Our Spirit of Adventures group, and she has wonderful pictures online too about their adventures. So I'm Charlie Bourne, I'm the practitioner for today, and if there's anybody new today, if you'd like to raise your hand, we'll bring you a packet, information packet. And if not, if you want to take a packet home, just feel free to pick one up from Doug in the back. And then also just a reminder to turn off any devices or at least mute them during the service. So I think we're going to just move right into some announcements, but we did forget the bell in the very beginning, but Mary was standing there and I got oblivious. But we also light our candle at that point, and that's to invite the energy, for a new minister. We have a posting, on the CSL website, inviting a new minister into our community. So that's ongoing. We invite the energy from all of you to invoke that. We have a prayer in the back that you can pick up to help with that effort. So please pick one up. So we're going to do a few announcements. You may have seen, if you walked in through the foyer, there are some plants out on the outside part of the foyer. It's our last day of selling the plants. We had those for our Bioneers Day a few weeks ago. And, we've had people pick up plants and buy them, throughout the last couple of weeks. Today is a donation only. So if one speaks to you out there, just grab it and take it. And there's a basket there where you can make a donation. But some beautiful cactus and other plants, and they've been watered for the last 2 weeks, so they're nice and healthy. So Hatha Yoga, a little bit of a change. Mondays and Wednesdays, 5:30 to 6:45. Sue will be doing both the Monday and Wednesday Hatha Yoga for the month of June, and they'll be taking July and August off. We have our spiritual jam that's coming Friday night, led by Shims, Steve Smith, and that's 7 to 8:30 p.m. here in the sanctuary. You can bring any musical instrument you want to bring. You can bring your voice, or you can just bring your energy and just sit in the circle. It's a wonderful time together, and we're always blessed by what comes out of these jams, because it's not planned. It just happens. And you always walk away just feeling really inspired and lifted. And then we have, Grace of Aging Sage Workshop this coming Saturday, June 11th, with Reverend Sue and Shirley Wade from 9 to noon. And the conversation will touch upon reviewing our life and attending to repairing what we can. So anyway, it's a safe place to share and be with others and just talk about what we have in common about as we move into this stage of our life. So there's no age defined. It's whatever, if this speaks to you, this is a great place for conversation. And I know Shirley is excellent at what she presents and supported by Sue, and so it's a wonderful experience. We have an exploring membership meeting with Dr. Mary next Sunday from 11:15 to 12:15. So if you want to know what membership means and what's involved in terms of becoming a member here at the center, it's a great place to get your questions answered. And Mary goes through a little bit of background about the center, and it's very informative. Sacred Sisters and the men's group meet tomorrow night. June 13th from 7 to 8:30 here at the center. So if you have any questions, Roy is here, Reverend Roy, and then Reverend Sue. And then Sue has something to add.
How are you doing today?
I've been up since
I think
4.
we have an opening song.
We do have an opening song.
I know. So everything, I want to thank Nadine for confusing us this morning with a great idea of singing the children and doing birthdays at the same time. We were so excited to do it that we forgot everything else. So please bear with.
You.
I'm with you here. So here's the 360 band, and then we'll start to catch up on our itinerary here. Thank you. Thank you.
Just for a little ring.
360 band.
Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming, but we can help shape what's ahead. With kindness as our currency, the Commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, or give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Look up now, people, lift the leader to the ground. We are the river flowing, generosity abounds. So give a little, or give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Honey bees of sweetness, only to help the world bloom. Bring love to the flower, from the flower to the fruit. We can learn a thing or two. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. The power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming. We can help shape what's ahead. With kindness as our currency, the Commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, or give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, la 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 la. Power of love.
Great, thank you. So I'd like to invite Lori up. She's going to do our reading today. And then we'll invite the bell 3 times, and then have a moment's silence, and then I'll do a prayer.
Today's reading is from Divining the Body by Jan Phillips. Cultural anthropologists tell us that there was a time when humankind honored its oneness with the natural world and lived in peaceful, full-bodied harmony with nature. But as broader social organizations developed, as religion became codified in language and in hierarchy, and as the intellectual became dominant over the physical, we began to separate our souls from our bodies. We forgot we were sparks from the same flame, waves of the same sea, that as much as the divine is around us, the divine is within us, experiencing itself through every sense in our bodies. The journey of our lives is a journey of remembering and reconnecting. It is a journey of joy and discovering, a chance to feel and reveal the radiance within. The spiritual path leads inward, for the beloved dwells there in every cell, like the oak in the acorn, the jewel in the mine. The great secret within us is waiting to be told through the living of our lives, waiting to be shared through the pleasure of our senses. We need to climb back into our bodies and honor them as instruments of our souls. They are the means through which the divine takes shape in this world, crucibles in which the raging blaze of spirit is transformed into luminous thought, radiant creations, enlightened action. We are the Word made flesh, and through our bodies, we are continuing the creation of the universe, physically and metaphysically. It is not happening to us, but through us.
please join with me in knowing that as I recognize the beauty that surrounds each and every one of us, I recognize that this is Spirit. This is God. This is the beauty of life. And so I relish and give thanks for the rain and the moisture, for the human heart that resides within this room and everywhere. And so I recognize for each and every one of us that this God presence, this Spirit flows through each and every one of us, as us, in its own unique and beautiful way. And so today, I allow myself and for each one here to dive down deep into that place within that recognizes and relishes the presence of God. In doing so, there's an appreciation and an excitement about answering the call, listening to the nudge to grow and to expand and be more of who I am, who we can be as an expression in this lifetime. So I give thanks for today, for Reverend Sue, and for her prepared talk, as she actually allows herself to be a conduit of the One and to allow her voice to be heard, which are inspired and is inspired by the presence of the One. So I give thanks for our community, for today, and for grace. And I release these words and this prayer into law, knowing full well it is so, and together we say, and so it is. Reverend Sue.
Good morning. Thank you, Judy. Thank you for always being here. Yeah. A humble woman that is always in service. So before I begin, I want to thank Dr. Mary for setting up our booth at the health fair yesterday. That was at the Civic, and it was really quite fun. Cher was there, and Charlie, Mary, and Marty, and we had a good time welcoming people. I was proud of who all of you are, what I would be welcoming them into. I spoke to a lot of young people, young adults, and I said, please come and build our young community. And I said, you'll see when you walk in kind of a lot of white hair, but don't let that turn you away. And so it was just delightful. It was really, so if you're listening online and you're checking us out that way, we welcome you here. And we know that the message will speak to your heart because it speaks to all of ours through the years. So anyway, thank you, Mary, for doing that. It was a lot of fun. So the message today is speaking about the body. We've moved from emotions. Everybody's going, thank goodness. Got away from the feelings and emotional part. And we're looking now into the ideas of the sacredness of our beautiful, beautiful bodies. And I have, it comes to as an easier part for me to share because I've been a nurse for most of my career, most of my life, and the body meant a lot to me. So it's welcoming the body as a temple, to really see it as something very, very beautiful. And so I hope that what you leave with here today allows you to wake up to that deeper knowing. So Joel Goldsmith is a phenomenal metaphysical teacher, and he wrote this in The Realization of Oneness. The truth about you is that you are a child of God. God has expressed itself on earth individually as you. The life which is God is your individual life. It is eternal and immortal. God is your very being, and even your body is the temple of the living God. Now, Emerson tags on, we are the facade of a temple wherein all wisdom, all good abide. So these bodies of ours, it's a unique opportunity that reminds us this is the one thing. And when I thought about this, it made me think a lot longer upon what I was going to share today. But this body, your body, my body, it's absolutely the one thing that is under your domain. It is uniquely you. So think about that. It's completely yours, your body. To live a fully spiritual and to experience the divine, you have to engage the body. And to engage the body as a temple is to enter that awareness with deep reverence, deep gratitude. To recognize when you look upon yourself in the first thing in the morning is to see a radiance looking back at you, to see the divine looking out through your eyes, to look and feel the heart of your being. This reverence that you awaken to experience God and to become very sensitive to your world will guide you. It will guide you. So we discussed this, like I said, for the last couple of months at the level of emotion and feeling, but we step back and we start to put all the pieces together. And this is what Earnest Holmes says, the founder of this philosophy. Your body is the temple of the living spirit. It is spiritual substance. Since the Spirit of God has entered into your being, your life is spiritual. The Supreme Being, ever present, exists at the very center of your thought. This presence within you has the power to make all things new. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. Whew, that's big stuff. But just as Lori so beautifully shared in the reading from Jan Phillips, I love her work. All bodies are a divine creation, and loving the body is an opportunity to remind ourselves that we serve as a conduit of a great love. What else is there to do? That great love is another name that we speak to as God or nature or spirit. But it is what is inspiring our individuality and our consciousness. So we use our wisdom in ways to connect to this preciousness that is a gift of life, to the preciousness of our mind, to the holiness of our heart. When we use these words to describe who we are at a very deep level, we almost fall to our knees in reverence to having a body, to have an opportunity to breathe and have life. So in her reading, I want to continue with just a little bit of her message. In the process, she talks about of divining our bodies, because sometimes we have gotten caught and trapped into comparison, into feeling not enoughness about our bodies, critical about who we are, trapped in pain, having suffering, not feeling pretty enough, handsome enough, thin enough, heavy enough, whatever it is. There's this idea that sometimes worms its way into our consciousness and causes us to then neglect the holiness of the body. So she says, in the process of divining our bodies, we embody the divine as the mystics did. We feel the beloved in every cell. Think about that as you sit there, these little cells, these beautiful cells swimming through your body. You sense the sacred one in every heartbeat. Now, we remember how sacred that sound is for those of us that had the opportunity to hear a child within us being formed, and we heard that first heartbeat, and the tears would flow as you felt your own heartbeat, and you realized as a mother you were feeding the energy and the life source to this being inside of you. So the heartbeat became so holy, so sacred to hear that lubby-dubby sound. And it just awakened a deeper responsibility in each one of us to take care of ourselves. She goes on to say, every touch, every image our eyes encounter, every sound our ears behold, we transcend duality and we shift from a sense of that duality, from self and other, me and you, to a sense of seeing self in other. I see me in you. Can you see me in yourself? And it's a sense of connection. We embrace the divine within ourselves, natural to find and love the divine in others. As soon as we can engage in slipping away from the duality of us and them, and it's our nature, it is in us to be able to do this. If we love ourselves tenderly, that feeling of compassion and kindness will just naturally seep out and transform every relationship that we find crosses our way. So what you hear today, pay attention to it is your body that is listening. Now, perhaps you have a beautiful relationship with your body. And self-care has been a blessing that you have cultivated over time. So I applaud you and I say smile upon that awareness. Smile upon the fact that you are awakened to that knowing. But if you flinch about looking at your body, welcome that message of a message from your body to please turn within. And may that simple chant be, I love myself. There's that beautiful message from Earnest Holmes and buried in the textbook, but he says, just wrap your arms around you and say, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. I almost want to do that every time if I'm comparing myself in the store and just stop right there in Target. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. And just see how we could change the world, right? Anytime anybody flips you off, oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. What would they do? They would just feel like, well, what finger did I put up? So it's this idea of displaying that sense of who we are. Now, when my children were babies, and I don't know if Lindy remembers this, those of you that know Lindy back there in the sound booth is my total heart here. Okay, I love Chris and Sarah too, but there's my Lindy. But I would read to them from this book called Divine Life for Children by Swami Sivananda. And I loved this it was a really tattered little yellow book. But I would hold them and I would repeat this particular one to them. And it was all about the body. I don't know if you remember this, Lindy. You were just little, squirmy little. 2 little eyes to look for God. 2 little eyes to hear God's words. 2 little feet to walk God's way. 2 little lips to sing God's praise. 2 little hands to do God's will. 1 little heart to love God's. Didn't know that was going to happen. Can I hold you? Can I cradle you into your mother's arms? But those moments of tenderness and to realize the sweetness of the innocence of which we hold, that lives still inside of each of you. You were each that little innocent, one being, uniquely you. Having 2 little eyes to look to God, 2 little ears to hear God's words, 2 little feet to walk God's way, and 2 little lips to sing God's praise, and 2 little hands to do the will of the divine, and 1 little heart to continue to love God forevermore. So beautiful. Those moments, we see perfection. We remember who we are. And then what happens? We grow up. And then we start to compare ourselves with others. We can be a friend, it could be a sibling, it could be a movie star, it could be the popular people. Oh, do I still have some stuff? There was a flinch. You know, it's these things. And social media has become a real nightmare with that social messaging that we need to show up with a filter so that no one will criticize us. No one will write a thumbs down when they see your picture on social media. And then we move through that growth period. Remember it? Watching our bodies morph into something half child, half adult. It's really weird. You know, hair under the armpit, one hair, cultivating it. Wanting to shave it so it could be a stub. You know, it's these things that we do that we're thinking, well, I want to be an adult, but you still have your Barbies buried in the closet somewhere as your refuge when you come home from a hard day. Though we label ourselves, we start to label what we see in the mirror. Instead of doing the blessing, instead of seeing with the eyes of the divine, we start criticizing and comparing and projecting insecurities onto ourselves, but also onto others. We might pick on them. How dare they have straight teeth? Wow, look at their thick hair. Don't they think they're something? Now, these are the things that come so naturally as we grow up. And still, now I'm a little bit embarrassed to share this part. And I hope some of you might just kind of squirm with me a little bit. But I'm sort of curious when it says plastic surgery's gone wrong. And I want to see. And I kind of float through the pictures, and I think how sad that is that I'm even looking at that. What does that, what hidden quality in myself is needing to be healed? So there's those moments that we try to look at what we're comparing. We look at, or the other one is actors that were young. They were your heartthrob. Paul Peterson from, I think Donna Reed's show? My heart. People think, who's Paul Peterson? I actually had to look him up to see who he was now, to see if I still had the flutter of the heartbeat for him. And I could still see it. You know, he was an insurance man or something now, but we look back on these idols, these comparisons, and that's the space that we need to pay attention to and see how we are reflecting, how we feel about ourselves. Because, see, that is a projection outward. So the message is to heal these subtle wounds that we have layered inside of us. It's just a misunderstanding. And the damage that we have felt trying to deal with self-hatred or self-disappointment, hurting our bodies in any way. And it goes on all levels, from drug abuse to cutting, to eating the wrong things when we know it. And all of these things, it's the way that we have learned to cope with trying to deal with the body. And then when we turn to it as a temple, all of that can wash away by the simple blessing. I love myself. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Let us heal this. So as we do this path of self-love, it leads to self-care, it leads to self-awareness, it leads to self-enlightenment. And what has been hidden and unacceptable about your body, may it be revealed. May it be revealed with a loving connection and a return to innocence. The insights of being whole and integrated is a practice of non-judgment and a complete road to freedom. Everybody deserves this love and respect. Many years ago, I listened to this testimony of a woman who suffered from Lou Gehrig's disease. And then I thought it was a unique story, but as I looked it up online, there's many stories of these miracles. And many of them are related to prayer work or some form of healing in that way. But her story, she was very overweight, weak, wheelchair-bound, and she was resigned to live in the wheelchair. But then there was an insight and a healing that changed her life forever. And it came to her because she did the work. The story reveals that at her lowest point, she decided to look at herself in a full-length mirror, completely nude and looking at herself and loving what she saw. Loving again the cells, the eyebrow, the eyes. She just slowly would travel through her body. Took a long time. She had to deal with what came up as she would feel some of the doubt as she was trying to do this belovedness to her own soul and self. But she stayed with it. She stayed with some of the shame, some of the sadness, some of the disappointments that she saw there. But she kept going, head and painstakingly, slowly through her entire being, just washing herself. I love and accept myself. Can you do that? I love and accept myself. Can you do that with such sincerity? But it became a haven of comfort to her. And now, as a privilege to share her story, to remind us we can do that. We can do that on every level. The work is blessing every cell, blessing the divinity that is a spark inside of each one of us. It's known as pray unceasingly. And it takes time and it takes dedication. But this is the one precious body and one precious life that we have right now. And this is what we can absolutely know. So the spiritual practice is called for once you take that first step. Today, I choose to love myself unconditionally forevermore. Now, what I appreciate about this, and others of the same truth, it reveals as you're doing it the core issues that you carry in your body. Okay, so there's no more hidden spaces. You peel away the layers inside of you until what needs to be healed is revealed. Louise Hay is a master practitioner. She's passed away, but she led a life of really working with people. She was a pure religious scientist, and as a practitioner, she was integral in the work with HIV patients when they were, no one wanted to touch them. But she would work with them on this self-love. So I wanted to share just one aspect, and this is what I hope really causes a shift inside of you, because it did me as I've been listening to my own dialogues of my mind. So many people came to her for various healings. And most of them, she said, they had some core statements, and she found them very common, a common thread through a lot of people. Issues and reasons why their lives didn't work, why something was wrong with their body, why they never seemed to have enough time for themselves. Nobody seemed to care. These are some of the things. They can't do it right. No matter what they do, they don't do it right. Nothing works for them. They can't please anyone no matter how hard they try. She heard them all. She heard them all, and you might hear it echo inside of you that you've used that. But she recognized that the person only thought they knew the problem, and the complaints were only, and I quote her, an outer effect of an inner thought pattern. And fundamentally, that deeper inner thought pattern was really the cause. So she gleaned this understanding at a depth of understanding to pay attention not only to their words, but their body language, their facial expressions, and how they used their words, how they chose what they were saying to explain every question of inquiry that she presented to them. Then she could discern who was in touch with themselves and who was deceiving themselves. So the favorite way here, this is my part. I love this. She studied people in their consciousness. She would ask them to make a list of I shoulds. Now we've kind of like laughed about that through the years, like, oh, don't should on yourself. Should, if I pronounced that correctly, but don't should on yourself. And it's true. When you look at her work here, try it, see what comes up for you, okay? think right now you could just 4 or 5 statements of what you find yourself hearing. I should, I should, I should. They were instructed to then read the statements back. Read them back to yourself. But she would ask, why? Why should you? Why should you do that? My mom said, it's like, why the shoulds that we apply upon ourselves? The responses revealed a lot. We were stuck in a belief and a limitation applied to us innocently by someone just trying to look out for us, right? But if you look at this more deeply, she said, well, here's an example. My mother said I should, or I'm afraid to, because I'm afraid not to do this, so I think I should do this. Everyone has to do this because I'm too something, fill in the blank. Those were the answers. So looking at all of this, she recognized the secret bullet was to change all of that as the stories were revealed. This is the damaging dialogue that we have with ourselves, and its effect of saying should is actually saying because something's wrong with us. Something's wrong with us the way we are. We're going to be wrong, so we should do this. Her wisdom, replace the word with could. Could. It puts you in the place of healing. It gives you choice. And then no one's wrong. I could do this. Because when you answer the questions of your shoulds with the why and look back on it again, now the sentence became, if I really wanted to, I could. If I really wanted to, I could. Instead of, tomorrow I should begin my exercise practice. And then subtle blame, shame infiltrates the next morning automatically when you wake up and you go sit instead of work out. I could. I could. So think now of your body and how many shoulds you might have put upon yourself. What kind of relief would you feel if you just dropped it and turned to a greater appreciation of just what is? Move towards loving the self. It's not an arrogant kind of love. It's a love of great respect. It's that greater love that the divine feels for us. Now, what's familiar in this language is when we don't love ourselves, we scold and criticize ourselves endlessly, and here's where we start to mistreat the body. But we are lovable, not unlovable. And so it can even show up. These are some of the things she pointed out, Eloise Hay, in some of the writings, and I resonated with this one. We're afraid to charge a decent price for our services. For what work you do in the world, are you afraid to go to your boss and say, I deserve more? But these are the ways, so many ways that we could be benefited by not putting anything off until tomorrow. But right now, starting to pay attention to recognize, I no longer choose to deny my good. I'm choosing today to pick up a mirror and look deeply into the eyes of my soul, to really speak out loud, to love and accept myself. So let's walk forward this week, not being hard on ourselves when we find something's at a discord. There's something going on. When we feel an ache and pain, don't hold on to it. Sit with it. Reach out, put your hands upon it, and speak to it as the divinity would flow through you. Have someone that does healing touch or massage. Touch your body, bless your body, and don't be ashamed of your body if it's not exactly in the shape that you want somebody to see you in. Start loving yourself just the way you are. and knowing that this body is spiritual, the mind is spiritual, and everything is communicating together in such a beautiful way when we turn our frequency to hear the divine speak to us. So, all of that said, I'm going to invite Judy up, please, Judy, and realizing that this message today, we live, move, and have our being. You've heard that before in this temple. Some of us have been stuck in pain and trauma. You will find harmony. The harmony that you will discover is the moment you close your eyes to those outer impressions and look deeply to see what is in me as me. Pain was only your body shouting to get your attention. Deep wisdom is buried in you. You feel it in your intuition. You feel it in your connection. So this, as Judy plays, another author, Sri Srimnoy, the divine hero, he says this. So watch what happens inside of you as you suddenly hear something just a little bit different about loving yourself. Loving the real in us. I love myself. What do I love about myself? Not my body. If I love my body for the sake of my body, tomorrow I shall be frustrated because there are millions of human beings on earth who are more beautiful than I am. Naturally, I'll feel miserable. If I love my mind for the sake of my mind, tomorrow I will see millions of mental giants right in front of me. My mental capacity will fade into insignificance. If I love my vital dynamism for the sake of my vital dynamism, then I shall see that there are millions of people who are simply inundated with striking energy and force. Similarly, if I love anything else of my own for its own sake, I am bound to be frustrated. I shall defeat my divine purpose. Here we go. If I love myself because God is expressing itself through this body, this vital, this mind, this heart, this soul, then I see that I am unique and peerless in the whole history of the universe. No other person is going to be created by God with the same capacities and understandings and experiences. Each individual can love himself just because he is a channel of the divine. God wants to express itself in each individual in a unique way. When we become consciously and fully one with God, not only do we fulfill it, the divine desire, we also fulfill ourselves. When we say that we really and truly love ourselves, it means that we consciously feel that truth is constantly breathing us, for us, with us, in us. Every breath on earth is a living reality of truth. We love and adore ourselves every moment, not because of our sound body, our dynamic vitals, our refined minds, our pure heart. Why? Because the divine lives in you. Lean in as close as you can. God is using us, fulfilling itself in us and through us. Each individual has been surcharged with this supreme truth. We should each consciously feel that our life on earth is the outer manifestation of the Supreme's inner breath. Isn't that beautiful? How should we value the inner life? We should value the inner life slowly, steadily, sincerely, devotedly. If we do it in that way, the inner life is bound to grant us infinite peace, infinite light, infinite bliss. Carry this prayer with you. When you accept the inner life, your heart's reality cry must replace your mind's imagination smile. What is your heart's reality cry? Your heart's reality cry is nothing other than God's own transcendental, visionary smile. We take these words of wisdom by great masters, and we allow our hearts now to be led into a new idea. We begin today. We begin in this moment. As we sit here in this holy space, we just allow the ideas to wash through us. As we connect with that divine awareness, we find ourselves breathing that divine breath. Every breath touches every cell. Every cell is anointed with that love and grace. So today, we bow to the wonderful, wonderful body. And I invite you just to put your hands on your heart, and you can just silently say, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Today, I love myself just as I am. Thank you, God, for this message that allows each one of us to testify to the truth before one another and walk the walk and do the work and be the ones that change the world. I release this message knowing that it is heard and it's all love, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
I am but a small part of this great big world as it slowly goes through the heavens. I am bound to soil, rocks, air, and sea, held by so much more than mere gravity, and I hold on with hands of love. I hold on with hands of hope. I hold on to sunshine bright, to birds in flight, to laughter's sound. Yes, I hold on to God's good ground. Each of us must take our own path, choose our different ways. Yet we travel the same direction. Double helix strands of protein we unwind to find that everything still pivots on a miracle, and we hold on with hands of love. We hold on with hands of hope. We hold on to sunshine bright, to birds in flight, to laughter's sound. Yes, we hold on to God's good ground. I will play my small part on this great big world as we go spinning through the heavens. I'm bound to soil, rocks, air, and sea. Still I'm held by so much more than mere gravity. I hold on with hands of love. I hold on with hands of hope. I hold on to sunshine bright, to birds in flight, to laughter's sound. Yes, I hold on to God's good ground. Yes, we hold on to God's good ground. Thank you.
Well, that was truly the voices of God. That's beautiful. Thank you. So I'd like to invite the ushers up. I've been flustered a couple times this morning, but now I am again. That was so wonderful. So with our, somewhere. As we prepare for the offering, if you could just follow this affirmation. As I prepare to give my offering, my heart is filled with love and appreciation, since what is offered here is for my spiritual well-being. I am filled with gratitude, knowing life stays in balance, for as I give, I receive. On behalf of the Center, I give great thanks for your gifts today, not only for your monetary gifts, but for your heart and for your seva, your gift of supporting this center in so many different ways. And so we allow these gifts to spread widely, and with great gratitude, we know that these gifts build this community, sustain this community, and expands this community. So with deep gratitude, I give great thanks and release this prayer into law, knowing full well it is so, and together we say, and so it is. So we're going to have a closing song, and then Reverend Sue will come up and we'll say goodbye. But remember, there's wonderful plants outside for you to pick up and take with you. And also we have the social hall, and then we have Rich in the back if you have any questions on any of the announcements.
See how the level is. song we sing, fear's the way we die. Or you can make the mountains ring, or hear the angels cry. And know the dove is on the wing. You may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Oh, some will come and some will go, and we shall surely pass. For when the one who left us here returns for us at last, we are like a moment sunlight sparkling on the grass. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and love one another right now. So if you hear the song I sing, then you will understand. Just listen. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Oh, right now. Right now. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Oh, love one another right now. Yes, love one another right now.
Yeah, look at that. Love, love. Aren't we so blessed to have 360? Woohoo! We are. We are. They bring the message to life, right? Can we have just one more round while you're all standing and look around at each other? Go ahead, one more. Just love one another right now. Okay, here we go. Look around. Just one little moment.
One moment with you all with us.
Yeah,
one
here we
verse
go.
in bridge.
Here we go. Ready? Even do this.
Whoa, 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 I gotta get the right key.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
How dare you? Okay.
Oh, love is but a song we sing. Fears away we die. You can make the mountains ring, or hear the angels cry. Know the dove is on the wing. You may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together and love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together and love one another right now. Oh, right now. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together and love one another right now. Oh, love one another right now. Yes, love one another right now.
So awesome. Wonderful, all of us. Yeah. Everybody have a good day. Go to the social hall. Don't forget a plant in your car. You must go home with a plant. Yeah, thank you.
All right.